But yeah, I'm super excited to introduce our next speaker. This is Miss LaVada England, and she's going to talk about stomping out childhood poverty. And such a powerful topic, right? So she's a visionary powerhouse with purpose. Miss England is the founder and CEO of House of Restoration Community Connection, a nonprofit dedicated to breaking cycles by equipping underserved women and young girls with emotional intelligence, mentorship, and tools to claim their worth. Through her framework, the potted plant method, and I don't know about anybody else, but I'm super curious to find out what that is. Miss England cultivates intentional living rooted in healing and empowerment. Her own story, built from resilience and courage, fuels a mission to restore dignity and instill leadership in communities that are often overlooked. So let's give a huge 262 welcome to Miss England and help her stomp out some poverty, right? Woohoo!
Thank
Hello, how are
you.
you?
I'm well. How about yourself, beautiful?
Ah, doing great. Yeah, enjoying all the inspiration and all the tips, and I know you're gonna do that for us as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for introducing me. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Um, so I guess I'll just start off a little bit about my organization, and we do focus on stomping out childhood poverty. It does come from my background of being a teenage mom. I have four beautiful daughters today. They are 33, 30, 22, and 20. I call them my two sets. And, oftentimes they tell us that we cannot love anyone else till we love ourselves. And that's not true because oftentimes I had to love my daughters to help me get to my next level. And what we do in regards to House of Restoration, it's restoring the woman, fully restoring the woman to her natural state, right? How do we teach women how to embody being hopeful, being confident, and then thrusting them into the 21st century skills that are going on? So I work with a lot of powerful and dynamic women and men in San Diego that have already been in certain fields. And by stomping out childhood poverty, that means to empower the woman to sometimes be able to work from home. How do we alleviate the stress? How, what are the tools that we need, or who needs to be able to impart into us? Being transparent, being accepted, all those things, it's hard being a woman. You get so high in society, and then all of a sudden they want to pull you down. And so that's why this movement, this right here, this is so imperative for us as women to come together, because no one can tell a woman how to be a woman except for if you've been a woman. And
Absolutely.
and to be able to embody what it feels, the totalness of being that, just that, a woman. um I like to even go back to, like, if you've never had a baby, but that first breast engorgement, baby, let me tell you, it's some painful stuff. Okay, when that baby's hungry, or being able to talk about, some of us have started bleeding right from the third or fourth grade.
Right.
How do we be comfortable in our skin? And so to be able to teach women hope, confidence, and to fully thrive in their skills, transparently, un, you know, unreluctantly, just showing up in confidence. And so that is what House of Restoration does. We push women into about four different categories and help them, and equip them and restore them, and hope to see the best in them. You only can pour what you can pour in. It's really if the person is willing to accept what you're giving them.
Oh, absolutely. So powerful. Like I got goosebumps right there. And I love that aspect of really taking that whole woman and acknowledging those skills and sometimes those things that we let or society forces on us to kind of hold us back. So, such powerful work you're doing. Can you share maybe a moment or a story where you saw that mission come alive in someone's life and the change they had?
Okay. So there's a few different stories, but there's a young lady today that works for another sister friend of mine. And this young lady, she had to get her children back from CWS. But I knew that I knew she was skilled. She got up and she worked every day. And this transition came right in time. My sister friend that needed the help, she needed help with taking care of her dad. Well, the young lady had just lost her dad, you see. And so that whole transition was taking place. She had to get her like license from the home health aide and, go through all these things. But she also had a background, a history of being in jail, incarceration, right? And so it was a process. It's teaching women how to be patient through the process. It doesn't always feel good, right? Sometimes, and let me say it like this. I had to learn that going through was never for me. It's for the woman I'm supposed to meet and say, I made it and you can too, in some type of way. I love what Susan was saying about being able to listen, because when you listen, you also, like she said, have to learn how to translate what they listen. And being in the substance use disorder field as a counselor and case manager, say you said something to me and then I have to be able to repeat it back to you. That's what that interpretation is. Can I repeat back what you said to me? It may not be the exact words, but you will let me know, oh yeah, you're spot on, or no, that's not what I was saying. So going back to the example, is that she had to endure the process, but once she received the license, once she had gotten the clearance, she was able to embody that woman, right? She had to take along that hope. She had to take along that confidence, because she was already helping her own dad, who went through the transition of passing away. And now she can apply it to another big sister friend of mine, to her father, and show him love, that same love and that gift that she was showing her father, right? And she was using her skills, all the skills that she had already embodied. And so being able to take that along, a young lady who's a film writer. And what we love to do at House of Restoration is that we do fiscally sponsor women. And that was one of the whole points, or that was the whole thought and idea of being a nonprofit, was to be able to help women that could not really financially help themselves. Because oftentimes people insinuate with a prayer, but it's like, thank you for the prayer, but I need some money too. Okay, I'm trying to get something done here, right? And so she wrote her film, gave her a little bit of homework to do so she could put some real skin in the game. And then I was able to meet the lady that from LA, and she did all the original music for this young lady's film. And then we were able to pay for that, you know?
Awesome.
So it's really being there for the women, being able to not only hold their hands, but show them how to get out there in confidence. Say what you want, say what you need. Um, Always have that hope. Speak it. Deb was talking about that, speaking things into life. Yeah, and it will come. It will come. So those are two examples that I like to use.
Oh, those are awesome. And I love this idea too, because I think we're always doing this as women, right? Embodying the future you. And if we can help young women see that and start that process earlier, oh my
Yes.
gosh, like they can change the world, right? They can do it so much faster than some of the things that we've put up with only because we didn't think about embodying future you. So, like, I love what you're doing. Kudos to you. But I got to ask, like, the potted plant method, because, like, I love the visual, right? So, what inspired you to create that? And then just give us, like, a little taste of, and I'm kind of guessing we already got a taste of that, but you might expand on that a little bit. But,
So let me say it was God given. God always gives us ideas, Uh,
right.
Sometimes we get upset, be like, hey, that was my idea first. But it's like, okay, it was your idea, but who cares? As long as we're um helping others, that okay. So God gave me the vision, and it was really to help me untangle myself out of my own emotional turbulence and mental discourse. And it was a visual because I do come from a background of my mom being a using substances. I do come from a background of being an alcoholic at a very young age, you know, because it ran in my family. And so at a certain age, I had to learn how to stop pointing the finger at my mom because at some point we have to grow up, right? Whether my mom did or didn't do, you know, my mom has her own background story as well, you know. And as I got older and matured, I understood that I had to start understanding it because now I'm becoming a mom, right? I have my own four daughters, and there is a such thing as karma. There is a such thing as reciprocatory actions and behaviors, and all those things I had to assess. And God helped me to assess that through a visual called the potted plant method and dealing with the different layers. First
Mhm.
layer is that, you know, we have no control over what was planted on us before the age of 18. No control at all. Whether we, and I'll use a simple example, like if we were late for school, well, we weren't driving. Mom and dad had the car. Like if I'm late for school, you know, I'll just use that as an example. The middle part is what really makes me happy. I had to learn what made me happy so that that part with the flowers, I can always show up in my authentic self. Oftentimes we dress up on the outside, you know, and we're supposed to dress up. Sometimes dressing up is what gets us out of our gloom, right? But are are we dressing up on the outside more than what we're fixing on the inside? We have to be able to compensate both, right? Be able to not just dress up on the outside, but make sure our inside is being dressed up and taken care of, and that self-care. Make sure that when we're coming out, and I'm calling you my sister, it's not in a way of being manipulative or trying to get over on you. Like I'm showing up in my real authentic self. If I'm sad, I'll be able to say, sis, I'm not feeling well today. Yeah, I really don't feel like talking about that, you know? Or if I'm happy, it's just because I'm happy. So I had to learn to always show up in my authentic self. Sometimes I say things and it might hurt my sister's feelings, but sometimes I just need to hear it. Sis, you're tripping today. Let's get it together. Let's get it together, you know? But as we call each other sisters, we should be able to show up for each other like that and not be judgmental, not because listen, we all know it's difficult, really, if we tell the truth. It's difficult being a woman. We carry a lot of hats. Wear a
Right.
lot of hats as women, right? So that potted plant method, and it's give you a tidbit, but those are just some of the things, and those are some of the layers within there.
Ooh, like I love that, right? And when you're describing it, because I'm a gardener, so I was
Okay.
thinking about, oh yeah, finding your joy, like that's the sun and the water and the nurturing, right? And you're right, what we put in at that point, then we produce flowers or fruit or whatever it is. Um, so yeah, like love the download, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
And the thing about us is that that foundation that we have planted in us, we can always pluck that stuff up, but we got to find what makes us happy to exchange it.
Right?
So
Or
as
you
we're
can
plucking,
amend the soil, right? You're adding that stuff in and it's amending the soil.
that's right.
Um, right? And my own experience, just the other day, I had to chicken wire potatoes because rabbits were digging in it. But then that's that outside. How do we then protect what we've built and what we're creating as well? So,
Awesome.
yeah, beautiful. Well, tell us, because like we're all now in, right? We're in your vision. What's next? What's your vision for expanding the impact, or maybe scaling your team? How is this unfolding for you?
Okay, so next we do have our fifth annual She's Worthy event coming up on November 15th. We do this event a week before Thanksgiving because some women just don't have the family support, and then it allows them to network with maybe the politicians and other individuals that they may not have a chance to network with, right? And I am currently rebuilding my board. Let me say that I am currently rebuilding my board. So I'll be reaching out to some people because with expanding in the wellness, the fashion, the arts, in media and music, because these are all projects that we've accomplished, it's gonna take individuals that are willing to either come out of that fashion and say, okay, this is what we do. This is how we can impact or help you grow as an organization. I work with, again, some prestigious people in San Diego that are already part of like newspaper and media and music. So providing gifts and talents. And then along the path, if someone says, you know what, I love exactly what you're doing. What they want to do is go to my website and look at the House of Restoration, hrcconnect.org, and they can look us up and say, you know what, I want to give to your mission. I want to continue to help by funding what you're doing to empower young women, to really come into, again, that hope, that confidence, and those 21st century skills that we all need to take part in. So that's where I'm going right now.
Ooh, yeah, like we're all wanting to get on that train. So definitely put your website, your contact information. Um, yeah, and you've kind of told us for people who want to join that mission, what about like mentors or that kind of thing? Do you ever look for that type of people to come into your organization?
Yes, because I believe that, so say, because fashion has been part of it, because we teach women how to sew. So anyway, because if they're putting in their fashion talents, that means they're also providing some type of mentorship, you
Sure.
know. So but outside of, even if you're not in the fashion, if you're not in the music, if you're not, and you just say, yes, I would love to, take a young woman and take her under my arm and teach her. You got to remember that most of these women are coming with children. So being able to not just teach her, but help her balance out life a little bit, right? Help her
Right.
balance out life. Just be there, be an ear for her sometimes, and then give her what you can. So yes,
Absolutely.
definitely the mentorship.
Yeah, and reaching that hand behind, right? Which I think is really, as women, we're really great at reaching
Yes.
ahead and reaching behind as well.
Yes.
Um,
You know
gosh,
what you're
yeah.
saying, that I'm going to share real quick. So I have a mentor. A lot of my mentors have passed away. Ironically, they've been males, right? But Dr. Willie Morrow, he would say sometimes we have to connect, hook our buggy to someone else's cart to help push or pull them forward, which
Ooh,
means I don't always have to be the spotlight. I
right,
can allow a sister or a brother to be spotlight, right? But since we're talking about women right now, I can allow my sister to be the spotlight, and I can help push her in that direction or pull her, because sometimes we get tired. And then, in the words of Tayati Howard, who also passed away, he says, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated.
yeah.
And that's one of the things that I work on teaching these women. A lot of times we just kind of stick around because people tolerate us, but there are a lot of people out there that will celebrate us for who we are and how we show up.
Amen, sister. Yeah. Wow. What did you think of that, Deb?
Oh my goodness, I'm writing notes. I'm writing notes. I'm like, if I look like my head down, I text things to myself because I scribble all over it. And we talked about this last night. Celebrate. So I wore my little celebration. I wore my little Cool in the Gang shirt today. We were laughing pre-show, little last night Bee Gees. But I love celebrate. Go to where you're celebrated, because I think the bandwidth that can happen for somebody, especially when you are still in that process of blossoming, still learning to love yourself. And it's interesting because as you go to the next level of your push, whatever that looks like, you stretch yourself and you have to love yourself more, deeper, differently. And you need to go where you are celebrated, because I think sometimes we toleration and deserve and all those things, kind of worthiness, can get really convoluted. Like sometimes you stay in something, or even a conversation, or going back to a class because you've registered to the end but you don't really enjoy it, like you're not like teacher's not being super kind, those kind of things. Like those are really little vibrations of things that you're like, well, I'll just get through, or I'll just make it to the end, or what have you. And I think sometimes we do tolerate. Now, there is the stretch to significance, and getting to a place of significance in your life is not, it's not all rainbows, but there is a stretch that happens that you need to tolerate, or your nervous system needs to tolerate as you're going to that next level. But the tolerating that she's talking about, that steps you into the celebration, that's beautiful, because that's the self-worth, that's the deservedness, that's the, like, I need to go over here without making this situation wrong. without making this issue. I should have left earlier. I should have left that job. I should have joined that club. I should have done, like, it doesn't make it wrong. It's just a celebration of moving to the right. And I know that we met, me and LaVada met. We met at not the Oscars, but we met at the Emmys. And so we were there with the 262 book, and we were talking. Well, you can imagine, she walks up, you know, and she's getting a book, and we're all having conversation. She's freaking out, and I'm freaking out, and we're talking about, and you know, that's what happens, right? All these stories start going back and forth, and we've been hanging out for a while. And sure enough, here she showed up last night for the Vancouver event. But it has been an involvement watching that whole process. And you know, it's not easy. It's not easy doing a nonprofit. It's not easy doing a profit. You know what I mean? It's not easy doing a profit. That's why we're all here, you know, gaining such great juice from each other. But it's not easy to do a nonprofit and find everything that you need for it to function and then fully continue. So, you know, hats off to everything that she's doing over there. She's over in the studio right now. She's maybe having some tech issues, or I don't know, LaVada, you know, we can't see your beautiful face, but
right. And tell her we're all wanting her contact information. So
yeah, that's right. So put it in the chat, put your social in the chat. I think one of the coolest things that we can do for each other is follow each other and see what people are doing. Or if you hear someone, right? Like I connected you with Sharon Pound today because she's doing something similar now. What does that look like? We don't know. We're not responsible for the conversation. We can just put people together and see what happens from there. So when you hear something, if you lean in, that's cool. And then just keep leaning in that direction and see the magic that would happen. But thank you for doing that, because it's super important for women to have someone to, you know, to be mentored from and transition from places where emotions may not be at their highest functioning value, right? So we love you. You were so happy, and you are part of the next 262 book that is being released. So you get to hear and read more, and you'll be seeing a lot of pictures of us over the next couple of days. So thank you. Let's do some hearts and some loves and some emojis.